How do multinational corporations recruit globally? What some of the advantages? Global staffing for multinational corporations is really the advantage worldwide recruiting. We can hire people from anywhere. If you're in some very specific markets and you seek very specific talent, specific designers, architects, engineers, professors, you name it, highly specialized positions, and then you have a huge pool of applicants or potential candidates. That's a huge advantage. Or very simple, a larger pool of low-cost labor. Very simple. If you want to diversify and reduce costs, you can go to markets where it's simply cheaper, or reduce costs even in your home market when importing people. Some limitations would be depending on your strategy. If you have this ethnocentric strategy, you're limited. You have a very limited talent pool. So I gave you the example, Switzerland. Switzerland is a small country. They want to appoint top managers. There are not enough Swiss. So I did my doctorate in St. Gallen, Switzerland, well-known business school. And if you graduate from that business school, you can choose your jobs at Swiss companies or any, because they don't have enough Swiss people. And I know all my friends, or even me myself, we got invited to all kinds of fancy recruiting events. Go with BCG to Mallorca. Go with McKinsey skiing in the mountains, 5-star resort. It's really flashy, really cool, nice, because there's a scarcity. And still they would like to hire people who are somewhat at least educated, if not locals, at least educated in the home market. Also American companies, they like this. Educated, if you're not American, at least be educated in the US. And then there can be more trust, and same would be maybe for Japanese companies and so forth. They prefer locals, or at least locally trained people, and then they can assume jobs later. But this would limit your talent pool, very simple. Then we have what else? Influenced by bounded rationality of managers. So that's also decisions, staffing decisions are also made by people. Very simple. And if you think of key positions, they are also then made by also key decision makers. And they have their own ideas, who and what. And that would also limit then maybe the opportunities whom you can hire, or maybe even broaden it. If you have a CEO who has lots of international experience, and we would like to hire more global talent. And the other aspect is also very important when making these broad ideas would be, where do we need to locate the job? In some cases, you need to locate jobs near customers, near consumers, or near here and there. In some jobs, they are very globally mobile. You don't need to have a fixed location. So I also know a friend, he's an investment banker, head of a European regional office, and he can live in London, anywhere, and relocate and travel all the time, because it's a very mobile job. Or IT professionals can also work remotely most of the time. But some other jobs, they require a lot of attendance and meeting or production and so forth. And that will then determine where you locate the jobs and also where you source the jobs. Because relocating people is typically expensive. But in some cases, that also can be done and will be done. What we also then would like to think of is the recruiting source. How would we then recruit the people? And we can distinguish here maybe two aspects. One would be internal recruitment, and the other one would be external recruitment. So internal recruitment refers to recruitment from inside your own organization. So you will hire someone from your organization to a specific job position, because there's a job vacancy, and you will hire someone from inside your organization. External recruitment is you would hire someone from outside your organization into your organization. Each of these approaches has advantages. Here I've listed some. So for internal, you already know your people. They're inside your company. Particularly if you set up a really good database, where you have all the data on the employees, what kind of jobs they've completed, projects, what kind of performance they had over the years, what kind of potential they have. Then you have the database. The people are already in your company. You can easily identify. You need a new programmer. Oh, look, who has programming skills in your database, and you can draw that person you can easily identify. And you know also performance. He or she was a high performer. Perfect, we need that person for that really important job. In general also that would boost motivation, because you know if you perform highly, you can move up. Because that's the way that's being done in the company, lots of internal mobility. A typical example would be HSBC, Hong Kong British Bank. They rely on internal promotion. So is BASF, German chemical company. They mainly rely on internal promotion, and so they know they have the chance to become maybe CEO in 20 or so years. Advantage also, people are already inside your company. You don't need to train them. At least you don't need to socialize them. They know the company. And also they know your company. They are loyal, or that's the expectations. That's why they've been with you. And you can also give them more responsibilities. If you would like to send them abroad, you can do so. You can trust them. They've internalized your ideas, your values, and what is important. And then you have a spokesman or spokeswoman in your foreign subsidiary. External also has a couple of advantages. So the idea is you bring someone in from outside. He or she has many great ideas and perspectives, can really contribute. And that could be a major advantage when you think of a change management project, for instance. Or another aspect is, in some jobs, you don't have people inside your company who can fill the jobs. So instead of developing and training people, you simply hire externally. That's the case of Volkswagen and batteries. They don't have people or enough people who are knowledgeable in that area, so simply they need to hire people from outside, from America, from Japan, from Korea, who can do the job inside Skitter then. Another aspect would be also very simple. You add people. Some people are growing. Some companies are growing rapidly. That's also the case of Sartorius, our case for next week. A company that has grown substantially, and they need more people, and they can't do it internally. Otherwise, everyone needs to overwork multiple times, which is impossible. So they hire people, and you add people. And new people are typically also more flexible. That's one of the challenges of mergers and acquisitions. You buy a new company, and you try to integrate them. These people, they're not very open and flexible. Typical problem is they're resistant to change. But instead of buying a company, you simply hire individuals into the company, and because they want to join your company, and you hire them, and they need to adapt to your company. That's a major contrast to acquired or merged companies. And there are different ways then how to recruit these people. So both internal and external has advantages. Almost all companies rely on both internal and external recruitment. However, most companies have certain preferences. I gave an example. BASF would be a company that mainly tries to promote from within and only tries to hire at very early level or beginning level. And some other companies, investment banks, typically they hire at any level and frequently, because that's the way they do business, and it's very flexible. So how would then these global multinational corporations recruit people? Internally, it's fairly obvious. You have job posting on your intranet. That would be a common way. And then you have inventories, meaning you have a database of people who can do what. And you can simply look into this database. In this person, then we can try to promote this and that person. And then thirdly, also very commonly, is simply by network and referrals and so forth. That means, I'm a manager and I need to fill a new position, so I ask you, you know someone, he, she, someone knows someone, and then we can fill this position very easily through referrals. And that's very often the case, particularly at lower levels. And external, then it becomes more interesting, and there also there's quite some variation. The interesting part is here, global multinational corporation has multiple options, and also very often there are differences across countries. By law, but more often also because of a typical business practice and cultural preferences. And then recruitment is one of the functions that is typically more localized than other aspects of HR or of business in general, because that's like interacting with consumers or with applicants. So what we have here for entry level mainly, or lower levels, would be field recruitment. What I mean by that is typical what we consider college recruitment. We have various events. I think PwC will come for a sustainability workshop, and they want to interact with Göttingen students. Essentially, that's a recruiting event, yeah, because they want to get to know people. So very often, college recruitment, all these events, they're quite cost intensive, cost and time intensive. Foreign companies, very often, they're small. Yeah, HSBC has, I don't know, 100,000 people worldwide. How many do they have in Germany? I don't know. Maybe they have business in Frankfurt. Maybe they rather participate in Frankfurt, if at all. Yeah, but foreign companies are very often, they don't interact so much. Also, like here, your classmate said, first of all, they don't have the good local networks and knowledge. Second, they don't have the resources. And also consider the size very often. They're small units. So they don't do that, or if very targeted efforts and limits. And particularly the smaller they come. If the foreign company gets bigger, then typically they're also engaged in such activities. Because you need to, and also very often you would come once and again and to maintain these relationships. So foreign companies very often do not engage in these types of activities. Then talking about other aspect would be advertisements. That sounds a little funny nowadays. 20 years ago, companies, they found people by placing a job ad in the newspaper. Yeah, we had this survey here in this class before. Who reads a newspaper here? No one. Yeah. Who reads a magazine? No one. Yeah? It's all now internet. For some jobs, however, we still use these kind of ads. Bulletin boards, newspaper, maybe even on your factory door, but that's mostly for lowly qualified jobs. Factory jobs, yeah, or need help. Restaurant has like this paper in the window. We need a waitress, yeah, like this and that. So for lowly skilled, advertisements work well, but for highly qualified, I think that's something of the past. But foreign companies, if they produce in a foreign country, they need to also to fill these jobs. A common place is employee referrals. Yeah, so you would refer people. For foreign companies, that is again difficult because you don't have much networks in a foreign country. Yeah, and so what foreign companies do if they want to use referrals, sometimes they hire people only to hire other people. Yeah? So there can be a senior manager, maybe retired from his or her job, and then become a chairman of a foreign company. And the main role is for providing some advice, which is not needed. But what is very needed still is for recruitment purpose. Because that guy may have really good networks over the time. Maybe in Japan, former manager of Sony, 60 years old, could not become a senior manager in Sony, but still has a great network. And then he or she can really try to pull some strings and hire also some people. In the interview, he will sit in. Look, I'm working here. Many great people are working here. Join us. Yeah, no, yeah. And then they may come, or you have a better chance. Otherwise, referral is difficult. But also can be used, and the larger the company gets, then of course you have a greater network and they can invite their friends, colleagues and so forth to join the company. The common way of recruiting nowadays is probably internet, all kinds of internet. If you're a big company, you have your homepage, that attracts a lot of traffic. Yeah, if you are IBM, Google and you name it, people will want to work for your company and they will just check out your homepage. But if you're a B2B company, no one heard of you, no one will check out your homepage. Yeah? That's a sad reality. So what then, you have these platforms, Monster, Stepstone, you name it, where you can place your job ads. And now the big giant in internet recruitment is LinkedIn. And that's also internationally in many, many markets. So also for you, if you're looking for a job or if you want to be found by some recruitment agent, then place your profile on LinkedIn. And the more you advance, and in some professions, you get contacted all the time. And I know my friend who's a medical doctor or IT professional, and then you get all the time, every month, every week, you get inquiries. Looking for a job? Is that something for you? Oh, blah, 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 great company, and so forth. And then you can just whatever. You can see if you would like to follow up or not. Or if you want to find a job. And LinkedIn is also, I'm not working for LinkedIn, yeah? So don't get me wrong, I'm not making promotion or whatsoever, but also as a recruiter. Has great advantages because you see the resume right away. Yeah, it's like people are naked in front of you and you can see, oh, this, because they want to sell themselves or their skill set, yeah, to find a job. And it works in many countries. It's relatively reasonable in terms of pricing. Yeah, because the other option then as a foreign company would be to hire a professional recruitment agency, a headhunter, executive search company if you're thinking of managers. Because the situation very often is still the foreign company is fairly unknown, so you need to rely on certain agencies or internet and so forth. And the headhunter typically charges 30% of your annual salary as a commission. Yeah, so that's quite substantial. Imagine a manager would earn a salary of 200,000 euros. So it's an upper mid-level manager or a manager, and then you have to pay 60,000 euros in commission. So that costs quite a bit. But still, that's fairly common for foreign companies, particularly the higher the positions, the more difficult it is to find people. And then you rely on these professional agencies. One example also you can think of football. Football players. You have these agents. They charge 10 million to place Ronaldo in a different team and so forth. Huge commissions, and that also happens for senior managerial staff and senior key personnel.